Hello everyone, today we are back with part 2 of replicating IELTS computer-based test, but this time we are doing it online for all the teachers who need to conduct mock exams. This is a free solution, so this is not really 100% of the format like the web page. There are, I think, a couple of options where you pay and then a website does the test for you or give you the ability to send out real test that requires, I think, coding a lot, which I do not know. And for this one, I have looked for this all over, I think for at least half a year, for something that is free and at least allowing us to make a lot of forms. One option that was good only allowed us like 5 separate forms at a time. So that is not really what is fitting with most, I think 99% of situations of teachers. So let's get to it. So first, we put reading here. Something about reading that is specifically troublesome here is that you need 2 separate screens in one whole bigger workspace so that you can view the test and the questions at the same time, and only few of the forms online allow multiple columns. And for this one, you can't actually scroll down, but one thing about it is that you can align all the questions along it, so you don't have to line up a paragraph and one question, then another paragraph and one question. That just doesn't really look well. And that is possible because, well, first, the column thing is possible by clicking a new one here and then picking something, then you would click shrink, or if it shows up for you it's fine, but if it's full like this, to do that you put justify, yes, but it's like this, well, you would click shrink until it's half the width of the screen. This looks like a vertical screen, but I have to say that here that it is horizontal. You do need to change this by yourself, which is done by clicking publish here. There's 3 menu things here: fill, publish, and entries. You would pick publish and form style. For the fonts, you would change them here. Something you can't change the font of like some of the parts, but largely you can change these so that they look roughly like the size of a normal IELTS test. Okay, so what you would do, you would scroll this max form width to the highest. So 2000 is the highest here. I don't actually know the size, the width of my screen. I think it's bigger than that, but it allows so much. So that's what this number is at. And again, to get all 3 templates of these forms so you can copy and put it in your own test, you just need to do one little thing. That is to react to my Facebook post, and then there is the link to the materials you can get right here. The first thing you can see here is there are symbols of the 3 parts you need to do, and unlike the original test, it is at the top of the page, not bottom. This is unchangeable, but it looks damn near identical. And the bottom part, there's also things which you can create, which I will tell you. But to create like these parts thingy, well, you would again go to the settings here and click show page titles, then you need to change this. Like originally it will be page 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you need to change it to part. Again, if you hadn't watched my video about doing this on paper, the instructions are a little distinct for the computer-based version. All the sections, passage, and task are called part here for the sake of consistency, I guess. This is what I see when I personally took the test last October. So I'm making it like that right here. And well, you would uncheck display page numbers because iOS doesn't show that. Then you would click something like this, like I just did. There would be a new one, and the thing you would choose, you would think this is like a text box or something, but there is a specific thing you would click is to put a section. A section can put together multiple other types of input. So one section here is pretty accurate because you have the part and the instruction to complete questions 1 to 13. Then the left side you would put a text and put few. It's called content here. And for this one, you can change the size, the font, and you can embolden and italicize it however you want. You can also insert images for tasks that require them, and as I will show you later, you can also insert links for audio. It will not show up like right on the page and play on the page like you would normally in a test, but you can add a YouTube link and you can ask the students to open another tab with the audio and then listen as they go. There isn't a font size for this. There are like headings here, so it's not too much in terms of flexibility for the font size, but for this I would choose this as heading 2 and Arial bold. And for the footnotes, it's the paragraph as the other paragraphs, but in Times New Roman, so they are a little bit smaller. That's it. And for the questions, you would create another section, but this time there will be questions 1 to 6 and questions 7 to 13 as child directories. For the largest one, there isn't any more instruction here. It's actually a space, but if you don't have it, you can only match it with one task type, and the second task type will fall down here. So you need to create it and you can put something meaningful, but I want this to be as close as possible, so I put the smallest symbol I can find, which is a dot. You might think you can put an invisible space here, and for some directories that work, but not for the section label here, I'm afraid. I really tried everything. Okay, and for true, false, not given, you will create sections for all the multiple choice question, and for each multiple choice question, you would create a choice label, and you put the question in the label with all the tabs and space as normal, as I showed you in the first video. You need to change the type to radio buttons. For true, false, not given, you will only choose one correct answer and choose the layout to be one column, so they go straight down, and change the choices to true, false, not given. There will be different for the default option, and don't click allow fill in. The default value you would also leave blank so that it doesn't automatically choose one option. And I guess that's kind of it. You can see here that I didn't make all 6 questions like I did in the reading test. That is because no one really watches this video. I'm really kind of sad about it because I spent quite a lot of time curating this and night sleepless just think about it. So if you want it, then give this video a lot of love and tell me that you would need it for your own work so that I can help you as teachers paying teachers, as I said before. Okay, and all the labels for the specific type will always be bold. You cannot change this, but I don't think it matters too much. And that is it for this one. And the second part, table completion. Okay, so table completion is a specifically troublesome thing because you would need to create, tables, and for each column there are a lot of different things happening. One which is a full space, one which has one space in the middle with text around it, or maybe multiple spaces with text around it, and that is simply not possible with this web page. So unless you know how to code CSS and inject it into this form, I think the way to inject it is embedding it onto your web page and then switching it and then switching things up on your page. But I don't know, that's what they told me. So how to do it is you would create it on Microsoft Word. How to do it? Well, on the other video, and you would capture it and upload it. So with the text here, you just click the image option and choose file, then upload your file. The heaviest possible for one file here is 500 kilobytes, half a megabyte. So you may need to decrease the size of your photos with one of the tools online, and just upload it and click save. And that's the only thing you need to do. The next thing is to create text box fields and to put your answer there. I think you just need to put the number here and single line for just a few words. Here you can choose it as the invisible space, which you will copy from another website online and paste it onto here. The website, the form will understand it and put it at blank for you because in the exam there's nothing except for the number, and you already have the number here. The default value is also blank. Everything is okay here. So 7 to 13. And you see that it roughly matches with the length of the test, so I think it will be quite convenient to do the test this way. And the second part and the third part will be put in the next page, and to do that you just click here and create a page break. Okay, and when you have a page break, you will have a next button text for the first page. Here I just put part 2 and then a arrow symbol, so it's user friendly. And that's kind of it. For the other pages, there will be back button text, and for the final one there will be a submit button as well. It doesn't negate this part here though. When you do the test, I will show it for you right away. You can click on the part 2 and 3 thing, so you can switch between the parts. You can also do it down here. I want to say another thing is that to make it a bar like this, you would click bar in this thing. If you click steps, there will be just small numbers, letters here, which is not ideal. So you put that here so that it's spread out over the page. Okay, let's move on to the second part. Nothing too unfamiliar. This one has the matching headings type. So for the text, you would need to put the number of the questions before the paragraphs, because you cannot drag and drop here. I think there's little to no form that can do this at the moment. I think Quizlet can do it, but it is a page focusing on like question by question basis, and with animations and glitzy things on screen, which is not in the IELTS exam. So this is the way that I do it here. So you would put like a pair of parentheses here and a few underline symbols there, or not bold, and then the number of question in the middle and boldened, so that it kind of matches normally, which is like a box with a bold number in the middle there. So do that for all the necessary paragraphs. And for the list of headings, what you would do is to create a number input thing. And for each label, you would put the possible name of a paragraph, and you would choose integer so that the students will put the answer of the number of the questions for each suitable heading, and you would click drop down here. What you would need to do is to put number in the range portion here, from the first question to the last question, so that students don't enter anything else, and increment by 1 because they are integers. Again, placeholder text blank, and that's it for this one. The next task type is multiple choice in a list, and for this one you would choose still the choice input option, but you would click check boxes, not radio buttons or drop down. Again, one column, put all the choices here, and that's kind of it. I think that you don't get to choose the maximum number of options you can choose, so just tell your students to not pick more than 2 answers or 3 depending on the question. The third part of the reading test is kind of similar. Again, nothing too different for the text. Yes, no, not given is exactly the same thing, but the options are different, so nothing to say there. 31 to 35 will be summary with a list. So the point here is that you cannot do like fill in the blank test type here, even if it's just a paragraph and not a table. So what you would do is first create a text field, and then create again some number input field, and put the words as the label here, and that is it. Just remember here in the real test, all the words are next to each other in one line, but here, because the resultant form is horizontal, but this one is always shown as portrait, you cannot change it, so it might be difficult to align something that you can't see at the moment. So just put a few, maybe 4 options, and I think that is good enough. Or you can tweak it after by going to publish. If you click preview, it will show still the portrait version. What you should do is to click this link here and see how the form is, or alternatively you can edit the link that you are building right here. It will be the same as this, but with a /build at the end. Just delete that, and it will be an actual preview of what is going to be the final form. Okay? Alright, that's very cool. And now let's move on to the next task type, which is multiple choice but with one answer. Well, this is exactly the same as the others. Just choose radio buttons. Yeah, you can see that the size here are appropriate, like not too small like the one you see in the paper version, but that's the limitation of different platforms. Okay, and that is all for the three first parts, I guess. There are also other task type as I've mentioned to you before. This one is note completion, and I think it's not too different. Just create a text box label for each blank. If the notes is presented like in a paragraph, and I think that for each question you can start from the beginning of the paragraph and then put all the words until the point where the first blank is, then create the place for the text as the number of that question, and then the next text box will continue with the next word and until the consequent blank in the paragraph and until the end. Okay, if they are presented in like specific lines, like each line is one different question, then I think you can put the symbol for the question in the label line like I did before, like something like that here, but with more underlines because for text specific boxes it's quite a few times bigger. And that's it for note completion. The next task type, that will be matching. And very thankful is that you can do matching questions justice here because you can create what is called a rating scale. Normally this would go from absolutely disagree to absolutely agree, but you can click this to be custom and then change the options to A to G or H depending on the test. Again, the label here is one of the few that needs to be a dot. Just copy the questions, and then to create another question, what you should do is click the plus signs next to the questions here so that they would use the same A to G options here, just like in the normal text. Leave the default value and the NA button blank also. For the matching information for names of people or list of items, it's the same thing exactly. One thing of note here is that you need to create a content input type, so you can put all the options here. You can't really create a table with lines in the middle. There is a table option, but the only thing available is for you to enter the columns names, and the reader will type all the other rows for the table, which is not what you want to do in an IELTS table related task. So the way to go is right here. And just a few more actually. Summary completion with no box is just like text is just like note completion, but with slightly different instruction. The next task type is flowchart completion, and just like the table, you need to upload the photo of the flowchart here. I don't have a full one, so yeah, the flowchart here is what you have. And the last test type is sentence ending matching, and here, but the number will remain the only thing important here, and then you would create another number input type to put the range of the questions there, so you can have your students answer these. Okay, that's kind of it. Yeah, as I said, there's a backward and forward button. Yeah, that's a submit button. You can create, because in IELTS we automatically save a student's work, so just click save and resume so that it is enabled. Let's move on to writing. So this is not really a big deal, very simple. Here you can see that you are having just two separate parts. First part, just put the instructions. Here you would put the instruction and the photo for the graph or chart or process or map here, okay, in the same text box. And you may have a picture that is quite too big, and in the actual test it will not fit the screen, which is not really ideal. So you can actually make this smaller when applicable by dragging the corners here, and it is fine. And the second and remaining thing to do is to create a text box input. One very amazing function for this is that it can count the words that you put in a specific text box. All you need to know is the name of the text box and create just one formula, like in Excel. Very, very simple here, right here. So the thing to do is you would create a calculation input type, okay, and put the labels here as words and colon. Then you would choose the type to be number. We are showing the length of the text, with no decimal places, and the calculation is to put equal sign, then the name of the text box where your students type in the writing section. Here in the actual exam, this is just blank, so I put as little here as possible because you cannot put nothing there. But P1 here is 2 characters, so that's fine. Then a dot, then split, then a pair of parentheses surrounding a pair of apostrophe with a space in the middle so that it counts, words. Okay, you can change that into a comma to like count the numbers of things in a list, and then you could click another dot and then with length. Okay, one thing to notice is that here it will not automatically update as you type. You need to click outside the box to view the numbers of words. Like this, I am showing you how this works. Yeah, it doesn't show yet, right? But click outside and count the numbers of words. And what you need to do is to tell your students to remember that and change the placeholder text to this phrase so that they will know when they are doing the test. Okay, and the second part is very similar, just no pictures. Yeah, and chooses to be P2. It's fine. And that's it for writing. Okay, let's move on to the last skill, which is listening. The only one where you don't have 2 separate columns, 4 parts. Not to worry though, it is fine. Okay, so first part here, note completion. For each part, remember to create a content input type and click here in audio. Okay, the thing you do is just to type audio and then click this link button and then paste the URL here. It can be any link that you want to that can play media. But all they need to do is to right click and then click open in new tab. If you just click on audio in the actual test, it will redirect in this tab, and that is not what you can do to listen and answer at the same time, right? So remember to do that. For the table, you can see that although this is like a picture, it looks identical to the real thing, right? That is what we need to do. The second part, also has multiple choice question, not too different. Label the map. Yeah, one side is the map and the other side will have all the options in the rating scale type. For things that are drag and drop map types, just treat it as a heading thing, I guess. Yeah, and do drop down choices so that they can choose the specific, options. Huh? Okay. The next task type is again multiple choice question, but in a list, nothing too different. Yeah, for this one, there's no two columns, so everything is justified. If it's not, just click justify. Mm, yeah, you don't need to choose row or string here. Everything is in one column. Okay. The next thing is matching questions, right? Uh, so text will be available on the left, all the options also, and number input type for the options. Okay, remember to change the range to be suitable, huh? And 2930, a specific task for listening that is answering short questions. Nothing too strange though. You just need to put the text box labels here, and in the real test they are not as wide as possible, so this specific one you do need to shrink it to like middle size. Okay, yeah, like half the page size or smaller if you can. This can be very, very small, as you can see from the summary part earlier. Huh? That's it for part 3. Part 4. The next task type is flowchart completion. This is for the ones with options, but there's also the type where you don't have any words, so treat it as normal test completion thingy. Okay, and it's the same thing for the diagram completion. Remember to have the picture of the diagram here. Yeah, this is diagram, not flow chart. Remember to have the photo of the diagram there. I think if you would type the answer like onto the diagram. But here, since it's not possible, you just, put text box here, okay? Let's see. Diagram. Let's just, yeah, so you can see that when you shrink it, the other part will automatically appear and you can just drag and drop so that the questions fall right into place. So for this one, the only thing left is for you students to enjoy their online test or not, depending on the difficulty, right? If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. And remember to can react to my Facebook post available in the description or on the QR code screen so that I can be supported a little. As I'm filming this, there are no further likes on my post, which is saddening, but that's okay. That's all. If you're creating a test of your own online like this, remember to click save along the way. I think that will save itself a few times during your work, but guarantee yourself so you won't lose time going back to something that is potentially pretty time consuming like here. Uh, the next video will be less educational and more entertaining, so I hope you will catch that. So, goodbye!